Hello everyone, I'm Karuna and I welcome you all to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll explain about the decision making process, which includes choosing alternatives based on certain values. In our day to day life, we come across various situations where we have to make a choice amongst two or more conditions or elements. So let's consider a situation here in which Arjun is given two boxes of candies, out of which he has to select the one with more number of candies. So he makes an observation that box 1 has 26 candies and box 2 has 14 candies. Thus, after comparison, he picks up box 1. From this, we can easily derive a statement: if box 1 has more candies, then choose box 1, else choose box 2. Now let's understand it better with the help of traffic signals. You decide whether to go, wait, or stop depending on the color of the light. So, the interpretation of the color gives you a signal to act accordingly. Let's proceed towards writing conditions in Python. An if statement includes a condition which must be evaluated to true in order to execute the statements written inside the if block. So here is the syntax of if condition. In this, the word statement is used to represent any valid programming statement which will get executed when the condition written with if is true. Please note that these statements are shifted towards right. This is called indentation. Leaving white spaces in the beginning of the statements determine them as group of statements which forms a block of code. Now let's go deep into the syntax of if condition. If is a keyword, a reserved word which has a special meaning and cannot be used for any other purpose in Python programs. It is followed by a condition which is written with the help of relational operators and ends with a colon. This symbol marks the beginning of the indented block which is associated with the if condition. Let's see an example of if statement. This code checks the value for an even number. The variable num gets the value from the user during runtime, and then I divide the variable num by 2. If a number is completely divisible by 2, then it will give the remainder as a 0. This I can do with the help of the modulus operator, as it returns the remainder. Using the double equal to operator, I can compare the value generated from num modulus 2 and check it against the value 0. If this condition is true, then it will print the statement that the number is an even number. Please note that the indentation plays an important role here. The first print statement is intended towards right, which forms the code inside the if block. But the last print statement, which is not indented and is shifted towards the left, will be executed once the if condition finishes its task. Now let's say if I give a number which is not divisible by 2, then obviously the remainder will not be 0, and therefore the print statement written inside the if block will not get executed. In that case, it will only be the last print statement, that is outside if block, gets printed on the screen, and in that case the last print statement will get executed and will give the output outside if block. So this is how you can keep the indentation in the mind and create blocks of code using the if condition. In the example that I explained for the if condition, you must have noticed that the code works only for even numbers, but it's only the last print statement which gets executed, and it has nothing to do whether a number is an odd number or an even number. So for this, we write an alternative statement which gets executed when the condition for the if becomes false. There, we take the help of else statement, which contains the group of programming statements that gets executed when the if condition is evaluated to false. This is the syntax of else statement. Here also we need to keep indentation in our mind. The first statement, which is written inside the if block, gets executed when the condition is true. But when this condition is false, it goes to the else part, and the statement, which is indented towards the right after the else block, gets executed. So let's have an example to understand how if and else statements can be written in our Python programs. This code is an extension of the previous code that was written using only if statement. Here, if the number is divisible by 2, then it will give the remainder as 0. But if the condition gets false, then it will simply move to the else part, which will result into the execution of the print statement, giving the output the number is an odd number. The else part does not include any condition and gets executed when the conditions written before the else are false. Sometimes we need to check conditions or test values when the if is false. So for this, we write elif statements which gets evaluated when the if condition is false. The elif statement is written immediately after the if statement and can be written in our Python programs when there are more than two outcomes for a given situation. This is the syntax of if elif else block. So you can see I have written a condition with if. For that, I have some statements which are indented inside the if block. Then comes the elif condition, which will execute only when the condition written with if is false. And let's say if the condition with elif also becomes false, then in the last the control will move to the else part written after all these conditions, and the statements inside the else block will get executed. The code here checks a number for a positive, negative, or a zero number. So I've written the first condition. If my number is greater than 0, then obviously it is a positive number. But if the condition of if becomes false, then it will move to the elif part. That means the number will be checked for the condition num less than 0. If this condition is true, then the number is a negative number and the output is printed on the screen accordingly. But if this condition becomes false, then it will go to the else part written at the bottom, which gets executed when all the conditions written above are false, and therefore the number will be a 0. Now that you have understood the purpose and the syntax of if, elif and else block, let's write few programs in Python to understand these concepts in a better way. Here I'm writing a code to accept the age from the user. You can see the value which is accepted from the input function will be changed to integer type. That's the explicit type conversion happening here. Now I want to check whether the person is eligible for voting or not, and I know the criteria that the age should be greater than or equal to 18 years. So I'll write an if condition here. If age greater than equal to 18, and then the colon symbol. The time I press enter key, you will notice that the statement in the next line will automatically be indented. Let's remove this colon symbol, and now I press enter key. You can see the statement will be written exactly after if and will not get indented. So it is important that you put this colon symbol. Now I will write a print statement which will get executed when the if condition is true, and I'll simply print on the screen you are eligible for voting. Now let's run this code. You can see the cursor is blinking, which will accept the value during runtime. So I give the value 34, let's say, and it says you are eligible for voting. Let me run the code one more time, and this time I'm going to enter a value which is less than 18. So here I give value 10, and you can see no statement gets executed when the condition for if is false. I'm going to write the else part like this, else, and you can see the line for the else block is also indented, and I'll write a print statement here showing the output. Now let's run this code, and this time it is going to work perfectly for any value, whether it is greater than equal to 18 or it is less than 18. So in order to write your programs which works fine for your conditions, it is important that you understand where and how you are going to put the if-else statements. As I already mentioned about indentation, I would like to give you a demo of how indentation plays a major role in your Python programs. For your Python codes, it is done automatically. So you must have noticed that the print statement written for the if condition is indented towards right, even automatically when I add the colon symbol. If I don't bring this else statement towards the left, then obviously it will also be indented towards the right and will form a part of the if block. If I try to execute the code, this will generate syntax error, which will say that it is not a valid way of writing your if else statements. So for this, I'll have to bring it towards the left. Also, I would like to mention here, if I remove this else part and I include this print statement inside the if block, now what will happen, both of these statements will be executed when the if condition is true. So you can see this. When I input the age, it says you are eligible for voting, and then you are not eligible for voting. Now if I bring this statement outside the if block, it means that when the condition of if is true, then it goes to the first print statement, and when the if block finishes its execution, the control will move on to the statement which has been written outside the if block. I'll explain this with the help of different numbers that I'm going to enter here. First, I give a value which makes my if condition true. So it says you are eligible for voting and not eligible for voting. You must be thinking that this output is exactly similar to the output which was generated when I entered the value 45, but there is a difference. Previously, the second print statement was executed when it was part of the if condition block, but in this case, the last print statement is written outside the if block. Now I am going to enter a number which makes my condition for if false. So I give a value which is less than 18. Now it says you are not eligible for voting. That means it is very clear that the statements which have been written outside the if block will obviously get executed whether the condition is true or it is false. So you need to keep in your mind how you are going to place the statements which must be part of the block, or they have to be executed when the condition is false. So in this case, to make the code work properly, I'm going to add an else part so that I get the desired output. Now let's write a code to implement if, elif and else block. Elif is required for having multiple conditions in our programs. You must have noticed in the last example that else does not require any condition with it. If I want to have multiple alternatives for a given situation, that will be done with the help of elif. So I declare the first variable, which is n1, and I get the value from the user. Similarly, I get another variable. After this, I will also ask the user to input the operator. Now, depending on the operator entered by the user, I would like to perform the task on the variables n1 and n2. So for this, I will write the first condition with if the value in OP is equal to the plus symbol. That means if the user inputs the plus symbol, then on the screen I would like to see the sum of n1 and n2. If this condition is false, that means if user enters a minus symbol, then I will write the condition using elif op equal to minus symbol, and I'll print n1 minus n2. You can also extend this code in case if you do not want negative number in your answer. So there you can have a condition inside the elif part where you check if n1 is greater than n2, then you would like to perform n1 minus n2. Otherwise, it should be n2 minus n1. Next is the multiplication symbol. So that is also written using elif. You can see that we have various conditions because the choices which are given to the user are more than 2. So there can be any operator given by the user, and we are performing those tasks with the help of elif statement in our program. And for this I'll write n1 into n2. The last operation is division, so I'll write op equal to. This double equal to operator will check the value of OP against the symbol on the right side, whether they are equal or not. So this is a relational operator for equality, and here I perform n1 divided by n2. Now I have written the code for all the 4 operators, but there can be a chance that user does not enter a valid operator from the operators that you have given. In that case, you would like to display on the screen that a valid operator was not entered. So for this, I'm going to write an else statement with a simple message which is shown to the user: invalid operator. Now this else part will execute only when all the conditions written with if and elif are evaluated to false. Let's execute this code. You can see it prompts for the first number. I give the value of 5 and then I enter the second number as 8. I want to perform subtraction, so I input the minus symbol and it gives me the answer minus 3. Let me run the code one more time, and now I will enter an operator which is not given in the list. So this is my number and I give the symbol, let's say modulus. So in the screen it shows invalid operator. Depending on your alternatives, you can choose the best statements that are to be executed for your if and elif blocks. Now we have nested if statements. Including a block inside another block is called nesting. So if I write an if, elif or an else block inside another if, elif, else block, then it will be called nested if else statements. This example clearly explains how nesting of the if statement is performed. A, B, C are three variables which get their values from the user during execution. The first condition which is compared is A greater than B. If this condition is true, then the control moves to the statements written inside the if block, and you can see the indentation also. The next condition after entering the first if block is A greater than C. That means to check the condition A greater than C, A must be greater than B. So if the value of variable A is greater than B and also greater than C, then obviously A will be the largest number. But let's say if A greater than C condition becomes false, then it goes to the else part, which is written to print the largest number as C. This if else block is written inside A greater than B condition. So if A greater than B becomes false, then this entire block will be ignored and the control will move to the elif block, which checks for the condition B greater than C. So in this case, when A is not greater than B, that means it will check whether B is greater than C or not. And if this condition is true, then B becomes the largest number. Otherwise, it will go to the else block and prints C as the largest number. So here is a diagram which will help you to understand how the execution of the statements happen. You can see in this diagram these rhombus shapes represents the conditions. So the first condition is A greater than B. Every condition has a true or a false outcome. Depending on that outcome, another task is performed, and based on those outcomes another conditions have been performed, and finally they perform a task. And in the end, the control moves to the statements which are written after this if elif else block. Now in this code, I'll explain how you can use nested if else to find the smallest of three numbers. So I take my first variable as A. I prompt the user to enter the first number. Then I take my variable B. This is variable C. Let's say if A is the smallest number, so I'll write the condition if A less than B. If this condition becomes true, that means A should also be smaller than C. Now you can see I have written the next if condition inside the first if condition, which is A less than B. That means if A less than B is true, then only the control will move on to the next if condition, which is A less than C. If this condition is also true, it means A becomes the smallest number. Now I'm going to write the else part for this A less than C. That means if I give the value of A which is smaller than B but it is not smaller than C, that would mean C is the smallest number. Now this if else block is written inside the outer if condition, which is A less than B. To execute any of these statements, A less than B condition must be true. Now if I say that A less than B is false, that means I enter a value in variable A which is not less than the value of variable B, then the condition would be written with the help of elif That means B will be compared with C. Now if this condition is true, that would mean B is the smallest number. If the conditions written above are evaluated to false, the control will simply go to the else part, and this will print on the screen that C is the smallest number. Now you can see how indentation has been done so that we actually get to know what is nesting inside the if block. This if and else block, which has been indented and made a part of the first if condition, similar blocks can be written inside elif or the else block also. So now let's check the output of this code. This is my first number. In this case, I'm going to make a as the smallest number. So this is the number 2, then I have 7, and this is 3. You can see 2 is the smallest number. So to get this, the condition that are evaluated will go in this way. You can see that the value of variable a is 2. So 2 less than 7 is true. So it will come to the condition written inside this if block, which is a less than c. 2 is less than 3. This condition also becomes true, and you get the output 2 is the smallest number. Because this if condition of a less than c was true and the statement was printed, so it will not go to the else part, and the first if condition, which was a less than b, was also true. The elif and the else, which are written at the bottom, are the alternatives to the condition a less than b. So if this condition is false, it will come to the condition written with if, and if this condition is also false, it will go to the else part. Now let's execute this code one more time, and I'm going to make b the smallest number. So I get the value 7 here for variable a, then I have 3, and then I take 9 in variable c. Now let's try to understand how b was declared as the smallest number. So the value of variable a is 7. 7 less than 3 is false. Because this condition is false, the control will not go to the block which is written inside this if, and will go to the elif block. Now the value of b is 3. 3 less than 9 condition becomes true, and therefore we get the output that b is the smallest number. Logical operators not, and or can be used in our conditional statements in Python, which will help us to combine two or more conditions and perform a task accordingly. Just now I explained the code using nested if else statements to find the smallest of three numbers. You can see that a less than c condition will be evaluated only when a less than b condition is true. So taking the help of this AND operator, I am going to combine both of these conditions. That means the condition a less than b and a less than c both need to be true in order to make a as the smallest number. For this, I don't need to write an if else block which is nested, and I'll remove this else statement from here. Now a is the smallest number statement will get executed only when both the conditions are true. The use of AND operator I have explained in my tutorial of operators in Python, and requires both the conditions to be true. If any of these conditions, that means a less than b or a less than c, any of this condition is false or both the conditions are false, then it will ignore this print statement and will simply move on to the elif part. This condition, if it is true, that means if the value of b is less than c, then it will execute the statement b is the smallest number. Now if the value of c is actually the smallest value, then it will ignore the conditions written on the top and will go to the else part. Let's have an execution of this code. Here I write the smallest value for a as 6, then I have the value of b, and then I get the value of c. You can see 6 is the smallest number. So with the help of this AND operator, I can easily combine two conditions or more conditions, and they will be evaluated when both of them or all of them are true. Here I'm writing a simple code to implement a logical OR in our Python programs. So I've taken this variable ANS. It will prompt the user to input y, small y or capital Y for yes if you have medical emergency. Now in this, user will enter small y or capital Y if the person is facing a medical emergency, and only that person will be allowed. So I'm writing if ANS equal to small y or ANS equal to capital Y. Now the value of ANS cannot be capital Y or small y at the same time. So I just want to allow the person if the person enters Y. So it can be in any case. And therefore I'll take the help of this OR operator and I'll print the statement you are allowed. Instead of getting Y letter only, I can also compare the value against yes. I'm using the simple letter so that it becomes easy for me to compare both the cases. Otherwise, in case of a complete word yes, user can give it in small letters or capital letters, first letter capital, and different ways of giving that value. And in the else part, I'll print the statement that the person is not allowed. So this is how the condition written with if is combined using OR. Let's run the code. So I give the value y. This time I give only small y. You are allowed. I'll run the code again and give a value other than letter y. So it says not allowed. So it's a simple example to understand how logical OR can be used to combine your conditions. In this case, any of the condition, that means if the value of ANS is either Y in small case or in capital letters, then the condition will be considered as true. Only when the value of ANS is given something else other than this letter Y, this condition will become false and the control will move on to the else part. Let's have a very simple example to understand logical NOT. I ask the user to input a value in variable x. Now what I want is, if the user gives a value in variable x as 0, then I would like to print on the screen it as 0, otherwise not 0. But if I write this code, wherein I am writing if x, if I write this statement, 0 which is treated as false value will make my if condition false, and therefore it will not execute the statement print 0. So what I'll do is, I'll write not operator here. This is going to negate the value of variable x. So in this case, if the user gives the value 0, it will treat it as not 0, which will make it true. If true, will always be evaluated as true, and therefore on the screen it will print 0 value. And in the else part, I'll write the statement print non-zero. I have written this not operator with if condition because I want this if statement, which is print 0, to get executed. If not operator is not used, then if condition will be treated as false and will never get executed. So let's run this code. Now it is asking me to input the value. If I give it a non-zero value, let's say 6, then it will print on the screen non-zero. This happened because When I give the value x as 6, which is treated as a true value, not 6 will make it false, and therefore the if block will be evaluated to false and will move on to the else part written here, which prints on the screen non-zero. And if I give the value as 0, then it will print on the screen it's a 0 value. A very simple and a basic example of implementing not. Obviously you will be writing a complex code where you are actually using this logical not and or meaningfully in your programs, but I hope this will help you to implement these logical operators along with your if conditions. Membership operators in and not in have already been explained in the operators tutorial, but let's understand how we can use it in our if conditions in our Python programs. Here I am writing a simple code to search a particular value in a string. So I write here if o in Python, and then I'll print found, else not found. Now in will search for the letter O in the string Python, and you can see if the value is search, then it will print found. A very simple way to search for a particular value. It can be used with your linear search codes when you are searching a particular value in a given list of numbers. You can use it with a tuple. You can use this way of searching a particular value in a dictionary also. So in will look for the letter O in the word Python, and if I write not in, that means the statement which is written with if will be executed only when the condition becomes true. So if I change this O condition with not in, that means if O is not in Python, then print statement which is found will get printed. So I'll have to change this statement. I'll write here not found, and then I'll write the else part as found. So you can see found statement has been printed, but this time it has been done with the help of else statement, because the if condition was evaluated to false and the else part got executed. In the end, I would like to highlight some points which are needed to work with your if conditions. Else and the elif blocks are optional statements. If you do not want to have multiple alternatives for a given situation, then you can simply write your code with the help of if statement only. The else and the elif blocks cannot be used without the if statement, which means first you begin your code with the if statements, and then the elif and the else block follow the if condition. There can be any number of elif statements depending on the number of alternatives you want to give in your code when the condition for the if becomes false. The else part gets executed only when all the conditions written above it, that means with if and elif, are evaluated to false, and therefore we do not write any condition with else statement. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I'm sure this will help you to write conditional statements in Python programs. The link for the worksheet based on if condition can be found in the description box. If you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for latest updates. Till then, keep working with smile.